It says the video is now live, so I'm assuming that you guys can see that I am live. All right, so let's get right to it. So as you've seen, I've already chosen the software. I've already started the screen recording. And the first thing I would do is, if I have not already selected an image, I would go into whichever application I'm going to be using, to do my editing, and I'd find the image that I want to work with. Say, for instance, I want to use this one for a headshot. I'm just going to make it easy on myself. I'm just going to go ahead and speed this up a little bit. So we know this is going to be a headshot, so we're going to focus and frame it as such. And let's say that's going to be our headshot. Make a few adjustments. Let's look at the lighting. And one of the things that I usually do is I try to ensure that the camera profile has been selected, because what that does is it helps Lightroom identify which camera or what type of camera the image was captured with. So let's just say this is what we're going to work with, so we're going to just say, okay, go ahead and open. We're going to edit that in Photoshop. So this is going to render out, and then it's going to be sent over to Photoshop as it has here. And then we're going to go back to Lightroom, and we're going to minimize that to get that out of there. Okay, so here's our image. And like I said, I'm going to speed this up because I am recording both, and I want to show you guys the full process, right? So let's say I would go in here and I go to my normal, things that I would do. I would easily create a second layer, and then go in from that second layer, as well as decide on which things I'm going to be cutting out, or cleaning up. So I'll just grab my tool, and I would just start, removing whatever those imperfections are. So we're just going to speed this up really quick. Obviously, if you're going to be doing this for a client or for yourself, you want to take a little bit more time doing it. But, this kind of gives you the idea. So we're just going in, we're looking for whatever little imperfections. I'm not going to go through all the acne and all that stuff. I'm just showing you how I create these videos for, bangers that I'm going to put on Instagram or YouTube or, wherever I'm going to post them. So let's see, I'll just go in real quick here. A couple little flyaways. Like I said, we're just going to rush right through this. So this live won't wind up being, 5 hours long. Okay, so we see a few little things. Get those real quick. And 99% of the time, guys, if you're a working photographer or you're inspiring to be one, your clients are more focused on your turnaround time and how much you can get done within that frame set. So if you say, hey, I can come in and I can edit these photos and have them ready for my client in, a day or so, get it done. Now, like I've said before in the past, if you are working with an agency and you're going to be doing your own touch-ups, for some of the smaller agencies or some of the smaller fashion brands, then you're going to need a little bit more time. But then again, it just depends on what these images are going to be used for. If they're going to just be using them on, social media, Instagram, I'm not saying that you don't have to put in a lot of work, but you don't have to spend as much time on these micro details, because no one will be able to see them. It's like the little things here around her, her eyelashes and her eye here. I see them because I'm so zoomed in. But no one is going to be able to see those things at the resolution that these images are going to be uploaded to Instagram or Facebook or any other platform. Now, that does not mean, you should not learn how to do this, the proper way. It just means that you don't have to spend as much time. But, the most important thing is, speak with your client, and find out what it is that, they think is going to work for them. So, okay, so here we go. We're good there. Let's just say we're good. I'm going to go in really quick and do a little bit of frequency separation. So I'm just going to run my frequency separation. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to run that one. Just going to get rid of those 2 layers. And I'm going to run this one. This is a lot faster. Move some of these around. So what I'm looking for here in this image is detail on the detail layer. So you don't want to go too far, because then, you know, everything is going to be, you know, really halo-y, like, you know, how, you know, popular the HDR images were back in the day, you know, and everybody thought that was really cool. And, you know, like I said, you don't want to overdo this. So we'll just say, okay, that's good. And that's going to give me my layers to go in and do my frequency separation. So I'm going to turn off these 2 layers. I'm going to make my black and white layer from this one. And then I'm going to bring down the reds a lot so I can really see where the skin texture is. And then, now this part of it never really looks that interesting in the video. So a lot of times I fast forward right through this because, you know, most people are just interested in the before and after. So I'm going to speed this up. Always change the size of your brush as much as you can to match the area that you're working in. It's just going to make things a lot easier for you. And like I said before in previous videos, if you have a tablet and you can work with that tablet, do so, because the pencil will give you more accuracy. If you have a Wacom tablet, you know, this is the perfect application for that. And I'm just gonna finish this up real quick. Now you may not see a huge difference right away, but the key to good editing, I've always been told and I've always believed, is that when something is edited well, most of the time people can't tell that something has actually been done. Now when you go overboard, it's going to be obvious. You know, like when we're using a whole lot of different, you know, color palettes and things like that, that's more for artistic, for artistic effect. But if it's for, you know, photorealism or something like that, you know, you want to keep that as close to real as you possibly can. And I know, you know, in the days of Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and, you know, all the way back to, how many of you guys remember MySpace? Remember that? MySpace? I know you may not believe this, but MySpace still exists. I actually logged into my old MySpace page a couple of weeks ago just to see what's there. It's mostly music centric, you know, but it's still there. Even though most people don't go there, but it's still there. So if we turn these layers back on, texture layer, now we can see more of the texture and we can see how this is blending. So you're getting, you know, to see behind the curtain how a lot of this stuff works. All right, so let's say that's good. And if we turn off our black and white layer, I'm going to turn all the layers off. You'll see the before, after. That's a win. Okay, so let's say I'm very happy with that. I'm going to go in here really quick also and maybe, I don't know, just for the sake of this video, what else can we do real quick? Let's flatten this because we don't need that anymore. And usually, like I said, you know, things I've done before, you know, obviously I'll go in and I'll whiten the eyes, you know, and I'll whiten the teeth, and, you know, I may even add a little bit of lipstick or something like that. But in this video, we're not going to focus on that. We're just going to focus on what looks a little bit more natural, right? So usually once I get to this point, you know, I'll really zoom out and look at the image and, you know, imagine it how it would be viewed in social media. So if somebody was looking at this on Facebook or on a phone or something like that, I want to see it almost that small. Say, okay, that's how that image is going to look. Okay, cool. Everything looks good. Contrast is good, you know, and then at that point, if I'm happy with it, you know, I can just move forward from there, because you don't want to spend a ton of time. You know, if you look at the before and after, you know, I mean, there's a huge difference between what you see now versus where we started. All right, so let's just say all of this is done. Everything is great, no problem. So what I'm going to do at that point is I would normally stop my screen recording. So I would go up here, you know, to my controls, and I would hit stop recording, and then that would bring open up a new dialog. So I'm going to do that for you guys. So I'm going to stop the recording.